I tell my secret? No, indeed, not I. Perhaps some day, who knows? But not today. It froze and blows and snows. And you're too curious, Vi. You want to hear it? Well, only my secret's mine, and I won't tell. Or, after all, perhaps there's none. Suppose there is no secret after all, but only just my fun. Today's a nipping day, a biting day, in which one wants a shawl, a veil, a cloak, and other wraps. I cannot ope to everyone who taps, and let the draughts come whistling through my hall, come bounding and surrounding me, come buffeting, astounding me, nipping and clipping through my wraps and all. I wear my mask for warmth. Whoever shows his nose to Russian snows, to be pecked at by every wind that blows? You would not peck? I thank you for your good will. Believe, but leave the truth untested still. Spring's an expansive time, yet I don't trust March with its peck of dust, nor April with its rainbow-crowned brief showers, nor even May, whose flowers one frost may wither through the sunless hours. Perhaps some languid summer day, when drowsy birds sing less and less, and golden fruit is ripening to excess, if there's not too much sun nor too much cloud, and the warm wind is neither still nor loud, perhaps my secret I may say, or you may guess. Winter My Secret is a poem in which the female narrator voice refuses to share her secret with the reader and toys with the idea of whether or not to share the secret rather than to hint at what the secret actually is. Finally, the poem concludes that in a day which is neither too warm nor too cold nor too windy nor too rainy, then at that point the speaker might give the secret away, or the reader might guess it, perhaps because at that point the secret is obvious. The poem does not really represent Rossetti's most classic concerns, because it does not really concern the fallen woman or religion in a very explicit level. Actually, on the contrary of the fallen woman, this poem kind of presents a very playful and empowered woman which has the power to mock the reader and listener and to get his or her attention and literally build up suspense and the expectation of wanting to have the secret revealed, only to then knock down the wall she has built up and completely downplay her own argument by saying, "You may guess." The poem is rich in natural seasonal imagery. Winter is described as a time when protection is needed because it is nipping, biting, and bounding. And the narrator needs to avoid being pecked at. Then we have spring, which is described as an expansive and positive time, yet the reader does not trust it and she remains highly preoccupied. Summer instead is described as languid. The seasons could be a metaphor for the state of women, for when they are feeling protective and isolated and defensive, and when they are feeling instead promiscuous and sexually mature enough and ready. The tone is questioning, possessive, provocative, and playful. For example, I tell my secret. No, not I. That's very playful because she's playing with the ideas as she says them. She's at the cost of self-denial and self-contradiction. Possessive because my secret, the repetition of my and I, say how this is about her, and it gives a sense that she is in control of this poem. The rhyme is made up of couplets and triplets. For example, shows rhymes with blows, which rhymes with snows on 3 lines consecutively, and this really gives a sense of speed. Then there is also internal rhymes, just frozen, blows, and snows, and that really gives a sense of speed and vitality. It really gives a sense of a winter storm and the wind and the snow. It really gives a sense of intensity. And this is perhaps, this sort of intensity is a bit juxtaposed by the meter, which is iambic, which gives a very conversational tone of expression. In fact, it sounds as if the speaker is simply talking to someone in a very flirtatious way. Some key quotes you could remember are these, and in order they also serve to summarise the poem. I tell my secret? No, indeed, not I. This is quite amusing and sort of self-contradiction, instantly going forward and stepping back like a pendulum. She justifies this need to not reveal the secret by saying, today's a nipping day, a biting day, saying that today is a period where she cannot show her vulnerability or she will be attacked. This slightly also echoes Goblin Market in the sense that we have eating as a form of attack. Then, whoever shows his nose to Russian snows. Again, Russian snows symbolise the extreme coldness and wilderness and snow. Spring's an expensive time, yet I don't trust. This could be a metaphor for Rossetti to say that although in spring women and nature are supposed to be ready to reproduce, she doesn't trust this, perhaps because she's afraid to give in to temptation. Perhaps some languid summer day gives a sense of casualty and randomness, also suggesting that when something is determined to happen, it happens. Perhaps my secret I may say, or you may guess. That's the or you may guess downplays her argument and the suspense by enraging the reader, making her think, or her or he think, well, she's built all this up and now one can just guess it. So it kind of downplays the whole poem. Alternatively, it could be interpreted in the sense that now at that point Rossetti is mature enough and ready, and her secret is no longer a secret and it becomes obvious in her expression. The secret, personally, I interpret the secret as being her desire to engage in sexual relations. The main themes are identity. This poem is highly about herself. My, I, just my fun. She is playing, she is the driving force of this poem, but also nonsense and curiosity. You may guess, and too curious. You're too curious. Curiosity is quite a common theme, and that links very much into the theme of temptation. There is almost overlap between the two, whereas Goblin Market, for example, focuses on both. Winter My Secret is more about curiosity rather than temptation, I feel. The critical interpretations include a biographical reading, which think that Rossetti wrote this poem at a moment in her life in which she was feeling the desire to explore sexual relations after having had a crush for a poet, which I can't remember his exact name. Then, or it could be a commentary on the power of art, language, play, and poetic practice. So it could be more of just a comment on how powerful art is, that you want to know the meaning of something and it never comes, or you may guess in the sense that you can just understand it or have your own view of what it is. Or it could just be a poetical exercise where she is less interested in the objective of her writing but just wants to test her writing skills. But this is more unlikely since other critics, including her own brother, have said that Rossetti was not a professional poetess since she only wrote stuff that really inspired her and was not able to isolate the emotion from the technique. Also, the narrator of the poem could be associated with God, the message meaning that actually even God still has secrets and keeps deliberate uncertainty. The main symbolism comes from the eating as a form of attack, which is also seen in Goblin Market. Then clothing, the veil or cloak, which offers protection, and the door, which is the entry to heaven, but in the case of this poem it seems more to be the entry into the inner thoughts of the reader and then of the speaker, and then the speaker says that a hallway opens in front of her, and this hallway represents the continuation of this dive down into the soul. Thank you.